Well, hello there. Thank you for joining me for this week's edition of Telile 24/7. I'm your host, Adam Cook. On this week's show, how early should local hockey arenas open up to be able to allow minor hockey programs to resume during the time of a pandemic? And we'll look at how Richmond Municipal Council is trying to get answers from Eastern County's Regional Library to ensure that the library branches are cleaned regularly and that they have enough money to be able to do this cleaning on a regular basis. Among the many facilities impacted by the loosening of social distancing restrictions in sporting events is Richmond Arena. That facility is trying to figure out exactly when it should open to be able to accommodate minor hockey programs in the region. And the discussion took up a lot of time at the recent meeting of Richmond Municipal Council's Committee of the Whole. So you're going to hear several council voices over the next couple of minutes discussing the issue, and we'll also talk a little bit about what the response has been to this from the Straight Richmond Minor Hockey Association. Here's a look at how it all breaks down.
The CAO and myself met with some members of the board of the Straight Richmond Minor Hockey, and they have a request in that we open the arena 1 month earlier. Decision was made to open the arena on November the 1st, I believe, which would delay the regular opening, and they would like us, I believe, to have it open on October the 1st. The Straight Richmond Minor Hockey, what they will be doing with the teams is scheduling what entrances they can enter in and at what times for the hockey practices. I believe they promised 8 hours a week, or will at least have that. There is a cost to opening the arena, but we did budget for a loss anyway in the year.
Well, I'd like to know, Mr. Chairman, I'd like to find out from the CAO. There must be a reason why that we postponed the opening till November. Now, there must be some protocols we got to follow from the province of Nova Scotia, the healthcare department, and also Sports Nova Scotia or Hockey Nova Scotia. And I think this is an operational issue. It's a matter for staff. I'm sure when they looked at it, they must have had a reason why we're opening on November instead of October. And I don't feel like changing that date, and I will not be responsible as a councillor to open and put the minor hockey individuals at risk. I don't want to be the one to blame if something happens that we opened the arena when we shouldn't have, and that we didn't follow the actual protocol from the province of Nova Scotia. So I'd like to know from the CAO exactly what transpired that we put the opening dates beyond October to November 1st.
I was in discussions with a couple of the senior managers, Laurier and Chris, regarding the arena. We basically discussed several issues that influenced our decision. Obviously, we were concerned about the room that was available in our arena for hockey players to come in and get prepared to go on the ice, and at the same time follow the rules related to the pandemic, which was 6 meters social distancing. We also were concerned about some of the items in the report, or I guess in Hockey Nova Scotia's plan to reopen these types of facilities, where they said that they were going to maintain social distancing on the ice as well. So we sort of kind of looked at those two items first of all, and decided that it was going to be very difficult to determine or to really enforce that. And how can you play any kind of hockey or anything on the ice, practicing our skills and maintain that 6 foot of distance? So that was one issue that we looked into. We were also concerned in the health and safety of our staff. We have three staff there. We have no replacement for those staff, and no one else has been trained in order to take a place of any of those staff members if in fact they decide that they feel unsafe and that they want to leave the arena. And of course there's the idea of people coming into the facility that would also be exposed if something was there. We also know that the cost associated with startup is relatively the same no matter what, depending on when we start preparing the ice and getting it ready. But we did know that the revenues were going to be extremely lower because we ourselves canceled our programming, which would have been several types of hockey. It would have been mini hockey, pickup hockey, and co-ed hockey. And we were informed that Richmond Figure Skating was not going to operate this year. So the concern there was that the only basic customer was going to be straight Richmond minor hockey. And we didn't know at the time how much time that they were going to rent from us. So, you know, we just found out just today that they were looking at committing to 8 hours per week, which roughly would be about 40% of their normal rent time. So we also did check with other arenas in the province, and we did put out a question on the listserv, on the AMA listserv, and we didn't get a whole many responses. We might have got 15. We did have several arenas that were altering their plans to reopen. We had some that were postponing for 2 weeks. We had one that was postponing for a month. We had one that wasn't even opening at all. So we took all those things into consideration, and we decided just to postpone it. Basically, we're kind of interested in finding out how things are going to progress in other arenas. You know, we don't want to break any rules, and we don't want to get in trouble for doing something that we're not supposed to do. And we all know how difficult that can be in these times. And we all know that, you know, when the hammer goes down, we may, I don't know, get in trouble perhaps and be reported and have some public negativity against us. After the agenda went out, Laurier brought me a letter that was sent from the Recreation Facilities Association of Nova Scotia. Was sent to Dr. Strang and Stephen McNeil, and they were requesting, it's dated August 24th, and they were requesting that the province reduce the restrictions on the number of people that are allowed in a facility of this nature, arenas, for example. And they were hoping that the province would reduce the restrictions to have no social distancing in these facilities. The limit still remains at 50 for these types of facilities, so it's 50 with social distancing. And their request is that the social distancing be lifted, so that it allows these facilities to have basically full reign in involved sports and interactive hockey. And that was sent to the province in August, and obviously that a decision hasn't been made on that yet. But in speaking with the folks from Straight Richmond Minor Hockey, they did say that there was going to be an announcement coming soon. And for some reason, someone I think today in the office told me that Stephen McNeil was going to present a change to the protocol within the next week or so. So these are the reasons why we postponed the opening, hoping that things would change for the better, and if not, we would be closed and not incurring the huge expense and jeopardizing the health and safety of patrons and the employees, and just seeing what the outcome would be, just taking it sort of slowly instead of quickly. But what happens is the workers have to go in there and they have to prep the floor, because the floor has been over the years soaked with brine, and it's very difficult to get the ice to adhere. So they got to do a general cleaning of the concrete surface, and prepare a few other I guess pieces of equipment to get the ice started, and that usually takes around 10 days to 2 weeks. And then from there, when they start doing the ice and start preparing for it, it's roughly between 7 and 10 days before the ice is complete. And I think what they do is they give it a couple of days after that to let it really, I guess, I'm not going to say cure, I don't know what the true word is, but they prepare it even further for usage. So we're looking at probably from start to the end date is probably a month. So when we call the workers, roughly a month after, it's pretty well ready to go. And right now, we've informed the employees that they are going to start on the I think it's the 5th of October, which is a Monday.
Yeah, Mr. CAO, what is the recommendation from the Public Works Director?
Well, it's not so much a recommendation, but he was involved in the discussions when we decided to postpone it for a month. He and I and Laurier, the recreation manager, discussed it.
Well, I think I'm willing to make a motion that we discuss it. We delay the opening for a month.
What I'm going to say here is, in the event that things change, so if the Premier and Dr. Strang come out next week and say we're going to lift the restrictions on social distancing in these types of facilities, well then, as far as I'm concerned, we're ready to go, and we can begin on a moment's notice. Barring that, I think it's good to see what's happening with other arenas, and of course the true impact of schools beginning and things like that will show itself within the next 2 to 3 weeks.
Yeah, and I agree with you. We set the date now, but if we can get there a couple of weeks early, that's fine. That's depending on what Dr. Strang recommends.
And we can reevaluate then once that announcement is made.
Yes.
The Straight Richmond Minor Hockey, Don is saying that by October the 12th, they'll be using all of their ice time that they normally use. So that's into the second week of October.
Yeah, I think the comments was that they could manage with getting booked ice time at the Civic Center up until the middle of October, I believe. It's going to take approximately 2 weeks to prep the concrete, and then another 7 to 10 days.
Yeah. 24 days to get it ready.
We're looking at the 24 days.
Yeah.
At least 3.5 weeks.
So the workers are called back for October the 5th.
Right.
And then, so basically that being said, there's no way, like, we're not ready at a moment's notice. We're ready for 24 days or whatever it is after October 5th, right?
Well, let me rephrase that. We're ready at a moment's notice to begin the process.
Yes.
So the process at the very earliest would be tomorrow, and then 24 days after that.
For ice to be ready to be skated on, yes.
So, part of I don't know what the intention of this discussion is. If we are to try to bump it up a little bit, or just remain with starting the workers in on the 5th and 24 days after that. But I found out about this when there was a press release saying that it was not opening, and there's both sides to that, and I get both sides to that, and I think that you can argue either one of that, and you can, and I'm fine with whatever the decision was on that. But, like, the arena being pushed back a month affects an awful lot of people from every part of this county, and as an elected official, you deal with people. So we're finding out about this thing after a decision has already been made. So this conversation that we're having right now should have taken place a month ago.
I emailed all the council on the 26th of August.
That was to say that it was pushed back, correct?
Yeah, and if you would have had any comments then, or any councillor, some did respond. I didn't get any negative feedback from it.
No, and I'm not trying to suggest that there's one decision that's better than the rest, because there's validity in all the points on both sides of this. But I'm just saying that the decision was made without certainly any input from council. I wasn't asked to offer my input on where that should be. I was told what was happening.
Well, to tell you the truth, I believe that it shouldn't be a decision of council, that we have staff that are well paid to do that stuff. And as they deal with the concerns of the province and the medical examiner, they should be able to decide when and if the arena is going to be open. And I don't think we need to make it a decision of council. I've got all kinds of inquiry about the arena, And my response to them was that it was a staff decision because they're in charge.
I agree with Alvin. Why are we bothering with this? That's up to staff. You know, we have public works director that hires his crew back to do those things and have it
Okay.
ready. You know, I don't think there's any harm in having it ready a week early or, you know.
Well, Mr. Chairman, I brought the reason why I asked the CAO is I'm not willing, and I'm not willing to deal with this issue until the protocol from the province changes. I'm going along with staff exactly because I don't want to be responsible in any way for anything that happens to the minor hockey system or the players or people that go there that go against the rules that's laid out by the province of Nova Scotia as far as the pandemic that we're in. Don said that they're waiting for news from Premier McNeil, maybe in 2 weeks' time. Until the protocol changes, I'm going with staff, and they're the ones that dealt with this, and it becomes a liability to the municipal government if something happens, and I'm not willing to take that risk until the protocol.
I think you're right. Let's get the arena ready when we have to and have it ready. If it's a little earlier and you get news from the health department, that's fine.
Good. Open it. If you don't, then that's it.
The initial response from the Straight Richmond Minor Hockey Association to the decision of Richmond Municipal Council wasn't a positive one. In a Facebook post that came up on September 15th, the day after the Committee of the Whole meeting, the president of the Minor Hockey Association, Angie Matheson, stated that the decision to delay the opening of Richmond Arena until November 1st was made with, in her words, minimal consultation or communication with minor hockey. This means that depending on when the next two periods of our rebound plan are approved by Public Health and Hockey Nova Scotia, we will be down an ice surface for scheduling. The result will be reduced ice times and delays in program starts. All ice will obviously be in Port Hawkesbury until the Richmond Arena is opened, and then we are not sure what restrictions will be put in place by the county. Matheson went on to say that we know there have been concerns about some of the restrictions, but some hockey is better than no hockey. The Straight Richmond Minor Hockey Association is ready to work with the municipality on a safe, timely reopening of the Richmond Arena. However, Telile 24/7 has reached out to the Straight Richmond Minor Hockey Association since Matheson made her Facebook post. An official with the association has confirmed to me that ice started coming together at the Richmond Arena this past Monday, September 21st. With this in mind, the arena should be open in 3 weeks. That would result in a delay of only 2 weeks, which the official with the Minor Hockey Association described as inconvenient, but, quote, "We are happy to get kids back on the ice." For Telile 24/7, I'm Adam Cook. Not long ago, I sat down with Laura Emery, the Chief Executive Officer of the Eastern Counties Regional Library Network, for an interview here on Telile 24/7. She and her colleagues were just finishing off a reopening plan for the various library branches, including ones in St. Peter's and Petit de Gras. Well, the cleaning expenses for those branches in the time of COVID-19 came up as a request at Richmond Municipal Council's latest meeting of their Committee of the Whole. Richmond CAO Don Marchand will talk a little bit in just a moment about what that request means and what it could cost for the municipality to be able to give assistance to Eastern Counties Regional Library. Here's the CAO right now.
I did get correspondence from Laura Emery regarding the libraries, but it might have been about a month or so ago. And they were asking for extra funding, extra coverage of expenses to clean the library in St. Peter's and the library in Petit de Gras. She indicated to me that the director at La Picasse was going to get in touch with me to discuss costs associated with that, and that she would, not the director at the Picasse, but Laura would also get some costing for the facility in St. Peter's. So at that time, the janitor that was doing the work, I think she was an employee of the Eastern Counties Regional Library, and she did not want to do the cleaning anymore. So we contacted the building owner, the facility owner, to see if he could get somebody to do the cleaning that this individual was doing initially, and he agreed to do it for the same amount, which was what we've been paying all along. The owner of the building decided that he could get somebody to go in there and clean it. So we said, go ahead, go in there and clean it. But Laura had indicated that there was this huge requirement to deep clean and clean excessively, which I can understand, but we weren't aware of how much that would cost. So I didn't want to make a decision, say, yes, go ahead, you know, get somebody to clean the facility, and then we get a bill every month for $1,000. So I was under the impression that someone was going to tell me how much it was going to cost, but I didn't get that. In the meantime, the director at the PICAS called me, and I discussed it with her, and I said, you know, basically what we're obligated to do is pay the quarterly amount that we're in contract with La PICAS to take care of that facility, and I said that we would not be doing any extra cleaning over and above what we contracted them to do. They were doing some extra cleaning, and that was on their own. So then I didn't hear anything from anyone, and then this letter came in today.
Okay, so what they're asking for the St. Peter's, it's saying it would be on the order of $250 a month. They're estimating 20 hours a month, $12.55 an hour, compared to the $125 that we pay a month now, I guess. The total cost of cleaning and disinfection to be $250 a month.
Above the 125.
I would say it is.
Well, I think there are possibility, Don, you can get more information on this and see what that 250, exactly what it means, what it comprises of. I mean, 250 that's not a big library. And I don't know how many patrons are utilizing that library right now with the pandemic going on. So I'd like to get more information on this. I think it's pretty vague what you got there. They're just asking a figure and no details to back it up.
They're asking that we direct municipal staff to determine the cost of enhanced cleaning and disinfection to the St. Peter's Library for an additional day, and an additional day at the Pied de Gras Library, because La PICAS is going to do 3 out of the 4 days. So I guess they're requesting a motion that we direct staff to determine this cost. But then they're saying they expect the cost to be of the enhanced cleaning to be roughly $250 a month, 20 hours at $12.55 an hour.
Well, can we direct staff to find out? Is it possible that staff can do that evaluation to see how much it would cost to do cleaning? I don't know. I'm not involved in this.
Well, I don't know if that's our responsibility, because their pandemic plan is their plan. It's not our plan. So,
Okay,
you know,
yeah.
they're the ones that should be determining what needs to be done and then telling us.
Well, that's what I mean. We need some kind of system or something that should dictate to us what they're doing, what it's going to take, and actually what's the amount of money. To use a figure of 250 and no backup for the $250 seems to me like, I find it seems like a lot of money for additional cleaning. And of course, I'm not in that system, so somebody should know.
Okay, well, I'll entertain a motion then. Either way, I guess, that we direct staff to speak to Eastern Counties Regional Library for them to find out, or do you just want by unanimous consent that the CAO speaks with them and gets a little more information on exactly what the costs are going to be?
Yeah, get the CEO to talk with them and find out exactly what they're talking about when they're saying 250.
And the letter was only received today, so consensus on them dealing with the issue is not a big deal. I don't think you need a motion for that.
Okay, you're okay with that, James?
Okay, yeah.
Alvin, you're okay?
Yeah.
Gilbert, you're okay?
Yes, fine.
Jason, you're okay?
Yeah.
Okay. So Don, you'll ask them, you'll gather more information for us.
Yes, I will.
And that wraps up this week's edition of Telile 24/7. Thank you for tuning in, and if you'd like to comment on what you've seen or offer some suggestions for future stories, interviews, or other reports, feel free to contact us here at Telile Community Television. You can reach the station directly by calling 902-226-1928 or emailing telile@telile.tv. And you can contact me directly as well. My phone number is 902-625-8863, and you can reach me by email. That address is adamjrcook, cook with an E, @gmail.com. Don't forget to follow Telile on social media. We're on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. And if you go to our Telile YouTube channel, you'll see every single episode of Telile 24/7, including this one, as well as stories, interviews, and individual field pieces from the show, and a lot of new content that's been going up from Telile over the last little while, with everything from local government and local politics to music and arts. We hope you'll tune in right on Telile's YouTube channel, and keep tuning in right here on Telile Community Television. For now, I'm Adam Cook. Thank you very much for watching the show this week, and I'll look forward to seeing you again next week with a brand new edition of Telile 24/7. Talk to you then.